Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. If you missed it, please head back to Monday's episode where you have part 1. This is going to be a bonus episode. We don't typically release on Fridays.
You're welcome. So don't get used to it. Don't get used to it.
That is why there is no intro as a welcome to the Born Blonde. So we will tell you welcome right now. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Randa.
See you in a second. Okay, one of my longer ones, we'll get into that. It is the...
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
That was just for you.
It is the Michigan State Prison, or now more commonly known as the Jackson State Prison. A little bit of history, because the haunting on this one is long. So it opened in 1839 as the first prison in Michigan.
1839 is crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
In 1926, it was relocated to a new building and became the largest walled prison in the world with close to 6,000 inmates.
Jesus, crime? Jesus, crime. I was going to say criminy, but I just stopped that crime. That was totally unintentional, too. I'm just naturally funny.
Sure. Beginning in 1988, the prison moved into several connecting facilities within the Southern Michigan Correctional Facility, containing the heart of the 1928 prison structure.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm trying not to. On November 17 of 2007,
007.
that facility closed, and the original 1842 site was used as a Michigan National Guard armory for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Now it houses residential apartments and art galleries.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
The old solitary confinement was located in the basement and was made up of 3 cells. Capital punishment.
So it housed 6,000 inmates, but there was only 3 cells?
The original location.
Oh,
the
okay.
1842 location.
Gotcha.
Capital punishment was outlawed in 1846. But you could do a life sentence in solitary confinement.
What's capital punishment? Google!
So, hold on.
Oh, you knew what it was? Oh, I
on.
thought you, okay.
So, in the article, the direct quote was, in other words, it went from a 3-second hang to months of insanity. So, capital punishment is the death penalty. At the time, it was hanging. So it went from a 3-second hang to months of insanity because people literally go insane in solitary confinement.
Right.
All right. Anyway, on to the hauntings.
That's what we're here for, right?
It is believed that the solitary confinement inmates are the ones still haunting the building.
Makes sense.
Judy I'm going to say Krasna. Krasna?
I bet she.
Judy
K.
Yep.
That's an interesting name.
Former Armory Arts Village resident. She recalls different stories in her book, Jacktown History and Hard Times at Michigan's First State Prison.
Okay.
So the following stories come from her book. She shares a story of shelves moving and bouncing up and down. The glass figurines that were on the shelf were broken as the shelf they were sitting on flew towards her. She said that the figurines didn't break like normal glass either in chunks or slivers, but instead described it as a colored snow or powder.
Oh, that shit was obliterated.
Mm-hmm. She said that she had lots of thrown objects.
Yeah, get rid of that first page. Your printer sucked.
It does.
It said I give up.
So after Catherine, who was the granddaughter of the prison's last chaplain, hung a crucifix in the apartment, things calmed down a little bit, but at 12:01 a.m., 7 music boxes would turn on, and then off, one after another, every day for about 6 weeks.
Nope.
Judy also had 10 frog figurines that would light up in moist areas, and they sat on a moisture-free ledge, but would light up on, off, every day at 4 p.m. for roughly 3 weeks until the batteries died.
Hold on. What's the moisture have to do with anything?
That's what would light them up. Like, if they detected moisture, it would light up.
Oh, like Elliot's bath toys?
Yes.
Big no. Okay. I'm picking up what you're dropping, but fuck that. Nope.
There was an image of a man in an old suit and tie, which looked identical to an archived photo of a man with several prisoners that would show up on her TV that was turned off with what sounded like a crackling fire. So essentially the story went that she heard a crackling fire, turned around, and this image of a man was on her TV.
Did he die in a fire?
I don't know.
Oh.
Didn't explain anymore. She just said it showed up and then, like, faded out and disappeared forever and never came back. Yep. She had a very heavy door open during a meeting. Nobody around, other than the people that were in the meeting with her.
Right.
There's reports of several dogs barking at nothing.
Dude, I hate that.
So, like, the owners...
I hate that.
...reported their dogs barking at, like, corners and shit. And then...
corners and shit.
She recounted a story of a repairman that shared a story of when he worked nights as a watchman with another worker, and after 3 days, they both quit. They would hear screams echoing from the tunnels underneath, so most likely from the solitary confinement area.
Yeah.
Dogs barking where no dogs existed.
What the fuck?
Whip slashing, and the sounds of footsteps behind them, but when they turned around, there was nothing there.
Dude, this gets my fucking skin crawling.
There's orbs that appeared in multiple photos. And one of the artists had her paintings repeatedly fly off the hook that they were hanging on.
Shit was flying
The same painting. Like, it was one painting. She kept repeatedly hanging up and it would fly off the hook.
Well, the ghost didn't like that one.
Nope.
That painting sucked.
So reporters had contact equipment that shut off 6 times while contacting central tech stations, which had never happened before. Judy found out that the top of her stairs had a vortex. She said to have experienced intense energy in that area, which felt like heat, light, balls of energy, and bees buzzing.
Bees are so random.
And then the last story that came from there is Judy thinks that she was visited by an old prisoner who had been nicknamed the Crow. One day, a crow landed on her windowsill, and they cawed back and forth at each other.
Judy and the bird?
Uh-huh. After remembering the story of the crow...
Stop!
She looked the bird in the eyes and asked if he was the crow coming back to this life in form of the animal he used to intimidate. Yes, intimidate. Imitate. That's the word I was looking for.
English is hard.
After this, the crow cawed 3 times, tapped his beak on the glass 3 times, and then flew away in response. Judy lived there for 8 years and could never recall seeing a crow before, and stated that crows really aren't in that area.
Move. It's time to go.
Gotta go.
8 years is long enough. Get out of town.
Uh-huh.
Beat it, man. Beat it.
Just beat it.
Beat it. Just beat it. No one's gotta be something defeated. I think that's how the song goes.
Sure.
The Bruce Mansion.
Bruce.
It is located in Brown City or Burnside Township, Michigan, in the thumb of Michigan. This Victorian style brief pause. Here's the Bruce Mansion. This Victorian-style home belonged to Scottish immigrant and lumber baron John G. Bruce. The house was built by local carpenter Herman Bubby in 1876 for $5,000. This house was built for $5,000.
I wish.
Which took more than a year to finish. The mansion has 3 stories and a cellar that holds remains of a coal room and a large cement cistern for water collection.
Definitely thought you were going to end that sentence as, it holds remains.
No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
The attic has access to the home's tower, which can be seen on the outside.
Okay.
In 1881, a fire named the Thumb Fire burned over 1 million acres in less than a day, killing 282 people in the surrounding counties, leaving only the Bruce Mansion and Bruce's General Store were the only things left standing.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory waiting to happen.
Yep. So, John sold the house to a woman named Cynthia Smith, who later died in the home from a fever in the early 1900s. During the time Cynthia owned the home, it was used as a gathering place for local events, including church activities and funerals.
Of course.
Apparently, in those times, funerals were held at the most fanciest house, and the Bruce Mansion was one of the houses. Obviously, it was a mansion. It also served as an inn at one time. At least 3 people have died in the house because of this, and the age of the appearance of the mansion has become known as a haunted house, with one tenant reported moving out because of apparent supernatural activity there. In the 1920s, stories of a man named John Walker and his wife moved into the mansion. After a year in the home, his wife left him. John was so distraught he allegedly ran over a pedestrian and buried him in the backyard, and then hung himself in the tower in 1926. The house has been used as a Halloween attraction and has been the site of numerous paranormal investigations.
Oh, no shit.
Literally. Some people have reported seeing a ghost of a woman with a long neck.
Okay.
Woman giraffe bitch was in the house. A young girl, a bearded man, and a ghost of a cat has been seen to roam the house.
Salem, is that you?
Visitors have reported hearing a dog or something more sinister growling in the basement, along with a prankster spirit who likes to barge in on men in the bathroom. The men will notice the doorknob jiggling, but then no one is there. Today, the mansion is privately owned, and the owners no longer allow tours or investigations.
Smart.
Yeah, literally.
Smart. So, this one's a little bit longer as far as the history. So, buckle up.
We're buckling.
Because we have Fort Wayne.
Ooh.
So,
is that like Fort Mackinac and Fort Holmes?
Kind of.
He's very determined.
Anyway, as far as the history, it is located in Detroit on the Detroit River under half a mile from the Ontario shore. The original 1848 limestone barracks still stands, and brick additions were added later. I really hope that the mic picked that up.
Oh, shit, boy. Oh, my God. Hell no.
That's freaking great. The 1845 fort was renovated in 1863 and still stands as well. It sits on 96 acres.
Damn.
It was designated as Michigan State Historic Site in 1958 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1971. It is Michigan's third fort. The land originally consisted of high sand mounds and freshwater springs.
Interesting.
The site has history going back to the year 1000 AD, and approximately 19 Native American burial mounds were, in Randa's case, burial mounds were present in the immediate area, as well as larger mounds at the mouth of the Rogue River. The present fort was built...
Sounds awful.
...on the tip
Rogue
of one of...
River? Hard pass. Sorry.
This is me typing wrong. The present fort was built on top of the burial mounds. In the 20th century, on the tip, yeah, that's what I typed. It's on top.
Just the tip.
In the early 20th century, University of Michigan archaeologists excavated the sole remaining burial mounds and found human remains dating over 900 years old. Before a cannon was installed, the United States and Britain peacefully resolved their differences and the fort was no longer needed. So Fort Wayne went unused and was only manned by one watchman. There is evidence that the fort was used as a final stop on the Underground Railroad during its dormant years.
Interesting.
In 1861, the American Civil War led to the reconstruction and strengthening of the fort walls as the British's sympathy for the Confederacy renewed a fear of possible attacks from Canada. For the rest of the Civil War, the fort was used as a mustering center for troops from Michigan, as well as a recovery place for injured veterans.
Jesus. All the fucking papers.
After the Civil War until 1920, the fort was used as a garrison point. The fort guardhouse housed the first telephone exchange in southwestern Detroit. During the Red Scare following World War I, the fort was used as a temporary detention center for accused communists during the waiting for trial. During the Great Depression, the fort was open to homeless families and housed the Civilian Conservation Corps. During World War I, the fort was a designated motor supply depot, and additional buildings were built for warehousing and shipping. This was the largest motor supply depot in the world at the time.
Jesus.
At the end of World War II, plans were made for the fort to close. In 1948, the fort and original barracks were given to the City of Detroit's Historical Commission to use as a military museum. In 1950, an anti-aircraft gun was installed, which was later upgraded to Nike Ajax missiles. During the Cold War, the fort was used as an entrance station for armed services, with thousands being sworn in during the Korean and Vietnam War.
That's insane.
In 1967, it was used again to house displaced families after the 12th Street riot, with the last family leaving in 1971.
Dang.
The remainder of the property was turned over to the city of Detroit in 1976. And from 1949 to 2006, Fort Wayne Military Museum was run by the Detroit Historical Museum. And from 2006 until current, it is being run by the Detroit Recreation Department with assistance from the Historic Fort Wayne Coalition and the Detroit Historical Society.
So much history.
We're almost done. Also on the grounds are the remaining ancient Native American burial grounds and the Tuskegee Airmen National Historical Museum.
Can you say that again?
Tuskegee?
I love that. Say it again.
Tuskegee.
That's an awesome fucking word.
All right, and then a fun fact. Oh. In 2019, the fort hosted the finish line for season 31 of The Amazing Race. The TV show?
Never seen it.
Okay. All right, on to hauntings.
Woohoo!
What we're here for. So, black rodent-sized masses have been caught on camera suddenly morphing into headless human-sized figures.
Throw it away. Throw the whole fucking thing away. Throw it away.
Multiple accounts of people hearing men talking and heavy boot steps in the barracks at all times of day and night. It is believed that the mound builders may still be there watching. There's also a type of elemental spirit that the native people believed in called nature spirits. It is said that they still occupy the cave near the river where the burial mounds are and reportedly cause issues to disrespectful visitors.
Oh.
Soldiers' voices have said to be heard all over the land. Voices have been heard in the Spanish guardhouse. Also in the Spanish guardhouse, there has been reports of jail doors slamming shut and sounds of footsteps. And there's one report of a woman having her hair pulled. A lot of people have reported having anxiety and eerie feelings when walking the ground. Audio and video recordings have captured dark shadows and growls.
Ooh.
Visitors have claimed seeing people staring back at them during tours. And last but not least, visitors have also seen people looking out second-story windows in some of the buildings. But none of the buildings remaining, besides the Spanish guardhouse, have a physical second floor.
Yeah, no. How is that even possible?
What do you mean?
You just be looking down and you're like at the same level?
What do you mean looking down? Like people are standing outside of the building and looking up at the second floor and see people walking around on the second floor. But the building itself, there's no physical second floor. Like there was once a second floor, but it is no longer there.
So the second floor is a ghost.
Correct.
That's hilarious.
Do you have your last and final one?
Yes, ma'am.
What it is?
Oh, what it is, ho? What's up? Every good girl needs a little thug. Okay. Old City Orphanage, also known as Holy Family Orphanage, was
How
built.
holy is it?
It's not really holy, let me tell you that.
Okay.
Was built in 1915 in Marquette, Michigan. The orphanage became the region's biggest orphanage, housing up to 200 children at once. Originally, the orphanage was only meant to serve white children, who either lost their parents or was abandoned by them. Although, the first residents actually came from, I'm going to butcher this word, but I'm going to try it, Assanins.
Okay.
As an overflow, 8 nuns had control over 60 Native American children who were ripped from their parents as babies in efforts to diminish, Native culture into white mainstream society. They would be placed in the orphanage and then adopted by white families only and would never learn about the original heritage until adulthood.
Adult hard. That is accurate. Adulting is hard.
Facts. The Holy Family Orphanage quickly grew a reputation as dark and dangerous for children, rather than a safe haven as intended. Allegations began to arise after the orphanage was closed, with stories of children suffering at the hands of the nuns.
Shocker.
I always thought nuns were creepy. Former children of the orphanage often refused speaking of their experiences, while others would say they remember children being severely beaten or left out to die in the cold Michigan winters. One story that has been passed around...
Sounds like a safe haven.
Oh, yeah. The best. One story that has been passed around but has only been somewhat proven is of a girl who wandered outside to play during a blizzard. The girl quickly became lost and eventually developed pneumonia. The girl died a few days later. The nuns were so angry at the girl for disobeying orders, they wanted to make an example of her. So they left the girl's body on display in the lobby of the orphanage. Every child was forced to view...
Hold on. They left the dead body on display?
Every child was forced to view the body to be reminded about what could happen if they disobeyed and ventured out into the cold weather. Other reports tell a story of a young boy who either drowned or got beaten to death. The nuns tried to cover it up and reported his death as accidental and hid his body in the basement. The final orphans left the building in 1967, leaving it completely abandoned by a bankrupt owner who didn't want to sell until 1980. Some college students decided to sneak into the orphanage after it was abandoned and reported seeing a baby carriage mysteriously rolling across the room. Others hear the sounds of children crying coming from the lobby where the girl's body was left on display. Some say in the basement where the boy was hidden, you can see a glowing green orb floating about. And then in 2017, the orphanage was purchased and remodeled and is now the Grandview Apartments with 56 apartments and a view of Lake Superior.
Nope.
Do not go there.
Oy. Okay, well, my final one is the Whitney.
Whitney.
As far as the history, it was built in 1894 for David Whitney Jr., who was a lumber baron and one of Michigan's wealthiest citizens. He was worth $15 million at the time of his death.
Damn. Which
could be translated to about $388 million in today's money.
Bigger damn.
Whitney was born August 23rd, 1830 in Massachusetts, and massive two shits, and moved to Michigan at the age of 27 years old and established himself in the lumber trade. Established himself.
Skedablished.
You know.
Skedaddle.
Him and his brother ran a lumber company that extended from the eastern seaboard in Canada all the way to Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana.
Damn.
Whitney was the largest lumber dealer in the United States for a little while. Whitney was also involved in real estate, steamships, and banking on the side. Whitney married Flora McLaughlin in 1860, and they had one son and 3 daughters.
Why does that last name sound familiar?
McLaughlin? I don't know. Whitney had said that he would be happy living in a log cabin, but his wife didn't agree, so Whitney hired architect Gordon W. Lloyd in 1890 to build them a home. Work began in 1890 with the estimated cost of $400,000, or $9.5 million in today's money. Whitney spent an additional $250,000, or $6.2 million in today's money, on furnishing and decorating, as well as $300,000, or $7.5 million, on artwork.
That's just stupid. That's stupid.
Well, he also had stupid money, so...
That's true.
The outside of the mansion still looks very similar to this day. Initially, the mansion was imagined to be the forever home for Flora, but unfortunately, she passed away in 1882 before construction ever started.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
1 year later, in 1883, Whitney married Flora's sister, Sarah, who became the stepmom to 4 children.
What is up with that? Why? Okay, you want to keep it in the family, but goddamn, the sister? That'd be like if I die, Mitchell, Mary, and Sam.
Good luck. After living in the mansion for 6 years, Whitney passed away in 1900 from a heart attack. Sarah continued to live in the mansion until her death in 1917.
Lots of death happening.
It happens.
Well, I mean...
That's why we have hauntings. Hauntings wouldn't happen without death. Anyway, from 1917 until 1932, the Whitney family allowed Wayne County Medical Society to move in, and they also helped pay the property taxes until the end of the Great Depression, when the doctors were able to take over the taxes and maintenance bills. In 1941, the Whitney family gave the mansion to the Wayne County Medical Society, and the society remained in the home until 1956, when the facility near Wayne State University Medical Science Building was built. The Visiting Nurse Association moved their offices next door into the carriage house in 1929, where the horse stalls were remodeled into the offices. The house and offices were maintained by nurses until it was sold in 1979 to
1738.
Richard, I'm going to say Kahn. After a $3 million or $8.2 million today restoration, Kahn opened the Whitney restaurant in 1986. In 2007, a former Chrysler executive, Bud Liebler.
Liebler? Like Bieber, but Liebler.
It's the uncle of, Bieber. No, I'm just kidding. He wanted to buy the carriage house, but Kahn would only sell as a package deal, so Liebler bought both the carriage house and the main house for more than $2 million.
Dang!
As far as the hauntings go. It is said that Flora still haunts the home. Most accounts have come from the third floor women's restroom, and it is said that you can observe or hear sobbing and crying because she never got to live in her dream home, but her sister did.
Ooh. She's pissed, bro.
She is pissed.
She's pissed.
Grace.
I would be too, though.
Same.
Like, we're renovating our house right now, and I hope I live till see the end of it.
You will. If not, you can haunt Sam, I guess. Not that she's moving in here, but...
Right. That's funny.
Dude.
I wonder if there's a problem.
Anyway, Grace, Whitney's daughter, enjoyed tea in the carriage house, and per Whitney's instructions, there was supposed to be a tea set always set out in waiting for her visits. The tea set still sits on a table in front of a window overlooking the Whitney grounds because throughout the years, if anyone moved the set, there would be an increase in paranormal activity.
Oh, she pissed too.
Most of it involving china falling off the shelves and breaking. When the set was returned to the table, everything would be fine.
That's so crazy.
There have been multiple accounts of people hearing children playing on the second floor after all the doors have been locked and the workers were cleaning up for the day.
I think that's the scariest thing. Like,
Children?
Laughing is a great sound unless you don't have any kids.
Then it's fucking terrifying.
Then it's scary because you're like, what the fuck?
Some people report hearing coughing or coughing fits, which are said to have come from the previous patients of the TB ward or the tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
Which is funny because earlier you said that seems to be the most common haunting places involve tuberculosis. So, anyway.
Apparently it was I don't know. Continue.
Despite the multiple changes in hands, ghosts still remain, which are said to mostly be Whitney and his family, as it was supposed to be their forever home, after all.
Oh, that's kind of sad. No, but for real, I hope I don't die. I need to see this house get finished.
Mitch, better hurry up.
Literally. Chop, chop, motherfucker.
And on that note, thank you for joining us.
This was a longer one, but I think it
is a longer one.
Information was pretty cool. At least I had fun.
I had fun.
Researching
I hope you had fun.
We do.
Next week, you can join us for some Michigan serial killers.
Ooh, that's a good one. And ghost stories.
The following week.
Yep.
Woo! So, until then,
see you.
Follow us on socials, and we will see you on socials.
We hope you have a fabulous week.
Yes.
We love you so much. Thanks for all your continued support. Have a good week.
I'm going to go sage now.
Bye. My hip just popped again. Wait till you hear that later.
Oh, hey. Dumbass.
You need a shirt on.
I mean, I had a shirt on. It's just not the right one. Welcome to the Born Blondes podcast, where Aubrey doesn't know what the fuck she's doing 99.9% of the time.
Amen.
Preach.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I don't think they're listening. It would fall on deaf ears. Instead of deaf ears.
That's a real
Anyway.
knee slapper. That's hilarious.
Catch my breath.
Let me catch my breath.
Anywho.
Anyways. I'm I'm ready.
Okay, SpongeBob.
Patrick.
I'm Pinhead Larry.
He was
I'm Dirty Dan.
We gotta let it all out. That episode was a lot. Was it rough?
Hold on. It was rough.
Mitchell and I always use that reference now when something sucks.
What? Huh? I'm confused. I don't know. Richard makes no sense.
Sense?
Sense.
You got a lisp now?
Silly slash.
I wish I could do that, but I can't.
Silly slash.
Yes. Stop it right now.
You stop it right now. Okay.
Okay.
We ready? For the third time.
Yeah, but my cheeks hurt. Are my cheeks red? They feel very rosy.
Alright.
I mean, most of it.
It just looks like blush.
I mean, it probably is.
Alright.
I'm ready.
I'm out of breath. Okay.
Dude, it's all the laughing.